What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the UFC show. Oh, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm gonna be talking about recapping UFC 273 and then going over the best picks for this fight night. I'm kind of not too thrilled about this fight night. There's not a lot of people in this fight night that you really you really know. I mean, there's a few people that are going to be fun to watch. Some guys we've followed, we've had predictions on before. But there's not a ton here. I mean, the main event is going to be the big one here. Other than that, it's kind of a card that just is not that exciting. And I know in the past I've been really hyped about a lot of these fight nights, but this fight night I don't know. I just don't see this one being too exciting. But you never know. It's always the ones that you think that are not going to be good that end up being good. Before we start, shout out to our sponsors, Jolly Mac Coffee, Glitch Energy. I don't know where my tumbler is. I couldn't find it. I can't find it. Still can't find it. But hey, we're gonna drink out of a legit cup. We're gonna drink out of chug out of the old Cubs tumbler here. Tonight we got a little bit of Snapple Apple. Don't have anything really to drink besides that. Didn't want to chug milk. Don't want to chug a Mountain Dew this late at night. It's about 11:50 right now, so I didn't want to chug a Mountain Dew right now. Otherwise, I could make up a thing of Kool-Aid. Me and my son did go to Dollar General and buy 48 packets of blue raspberry lemonade Kool-Aid. If you don't have blue raspberry lemonade Kool-Aid, go get you some. Go get 48 packets of it. It's that damn good. And the sugar too you gotta have that. But this summer, my plan is to have blue raspberry lemonade in the fridge at all the damn time. I want to come home, have a tall glass of it, chug it. Maybe I'll do a hydration chug with it. One that goes straight to the dome like this. Let's get down to the breakdown. Now, I'll be honest. I did not watch like the first 4 fights, the prelims, which would be mainly the early prelims. We had my son's birthday, so we did the whole got the Blackstone griddle out, did some chicken fried rice out there on that Blackstone. Had family over, so we did that. And I missed the first 4 fights, so that'd be Julio Arce versus Daniel Santos. I think we kind of leaned toward Julio Arce. There wasn't a real big like definitive pick there. I mean, we had to lean toward Arce, I believe, but not really a for sure on that one. Next we had Piera Rodriguez versus Kay Hansen. This one was kind of this one was like close. It was 2 rounds to 1. Um, Piero Rodriguez defeated Kay Hansen via unanimous decision. Then the first official pick of the night, we had Alexei Oleinik defeating Jared Bandera via first round submission. We called that. We called Oleinik by finish. What Oleinik do? Went out there and got that sub for his 60th win over the age of 40. Well, he didn't get his 60th win. He didn't have 60 wins over the age of 40, but like he got to his 60th victory when he was past 40. But nice. I think they called it a this says neck crank, but I think it was a scarf choke officially. Is what I think I saw. I don't know. I think it was a scarf choke is what they said. It says neck crank. Mike Malott defeated Mickey Gall via first round TKO. Another fight I wasn't really interested in betting. Didn't really have a good read on it. Next, we had Raquel Pennington defeating Aspen Ladd via unanimous decision. We took Raquel Pennington. She was a little more than what I like to bet on. That was our second official pick of the night. We had her beating Aspen Ladd. I think just the money line. She ended up getting the win via money line. This fight was a pretty good fight for women. Mackenzie Dern really showed like there's a lot of concern, I'd say, probably with her. Like she wasn't known as being a good striker. She had the Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills, but she didn't have the takedowns to get there. She jumped on her a couple times trying to pull guard. Had some pretty good chokes ready to go. Just could not get him to go through. Apparently we got a train going through here, and it's literally like a block and a half away, but it's so quiet in my town that you can hear it. Next, we had Anthony Hernandez defeating Josh Fremd. That happened via unanimous decision. I don't really think I paid much attention to this fight. Next, we had Ian Gary versus Darian Weeks. Ian Gary won by unanimous decision. A lot of decisions in this on this card. I mean, they were pretty good fights. This one was a unanimous decision. I guess one of the judges gave Darian Weeks a round. It was 29-28, 30-27, 30-27. Must have been a good one. I don't remember it. Next we had I believe the main, I think this was the beginning of the main card, was Mark Madsen versus Vince Pichel. Vince from Hell Pichel. Honestly, I think I felt like Pichel won this fight. Madsen kind of, I don't know. I would give the first round to Pichel. Madsen, he's got this very boring style. He just takes you down and just lays on you, and he holds you down. That's all he does. Do not give this fucking guy a title shot. He's almost 40. He fucking takes him down and lays on him. I do not want a fucking champion that takes you down and lays on you. The champions we got now are fucking good. They don't take you down and lay on you for the whole fucking 5 rounds. They don't do that GSP fucking shit. GSP toward the end of his career was just take you down, hold you down. Don't give me that shit in a champion anymore. I don't want to see it. Do not. It's gonna kill the fucking sport. It is. It's terrible for the sport. moving on, because I was rooting for Vince Pichel. I feel like he kind of got fucked out of that fight, but I hope to see Vince back in the cage sometime soon. I think he's a hell of a fighter. I hope Madsen meets somebody that knocks him the fuck out. Um, Next, we had a really good fight between Mackenzie Dern and Tisha Torres. I bet this one. It wasn't part of my official picks, but I had Mackenzie Dern. I picked Mackenzie Dern. I thought Mackenzie Dern was a. Did I just okay? I think I started. Oh no, okay. I talked about Raquel Pennington, didn't I? Wait, I don't know. I don't know who I talked about. I think I talked about Mark Madsen and or Mackenzie Dern, and then skipped over it. Maybe I don't know. I'll go back. Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres was a very good fight. Um, so Mackenzie Dern, the big knock on her was that she, doesn't have the striking, doesn't have the striking, pulled guard a few times. I did already talk about this. What the fuck? What the fuck? Go back and edit this shit. Start from where I'm gonna talk about now. Take it out from before I talk about Mark Madsen. So hard edit this. Take out when I talked about Mackenzie Dern before this. The one I'm going to talk about now, keep that one and put it after Mark Madsen and Vince Pichel. So Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres was a pretty damn good fight. Mackenzie Dern, the big knock on her coming in was that she couldn't handle Tisha Torres, who's a fucking beast. She is a fucking ripped out of her gourd. Don't know how she does it for a woman. She's just fucking like muscle from head to toe. Mackenzie Dern, not known for her striking. She's tough. She'll hang in there and box. World class Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But just doesn't have a good takedown offense. In this fight, we see Mackenzie Dern go through and just like walk down Torres and just give her a kind of like controlled the pace of the fight. Ended up getting pulling guard in the second round. Was able to grapple with her pretty well. Had submission attempts. I think that's what won her the fight. Torres, I don't think, if anything, maybe she wins round one, but I think the next two rounds go to Mackenzie Dern, in my opinion. That's why Mackenzie Dern won. I bet on Mackenzie Dern officially off of my. I didn't pick her officially. I picked her. I bet her off my official picks. I bet this one on my own. I wasn't too sure what was gonna happen, but I bet on Dern just because she's a tough girl, and I had faith in her because she's a wrestler. So next we had Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. I had Khamzat win this fight by finish. Burns, hell of a competitor. Jeez, I did not expect this out of Gilbert Burns. Chimaev, I think, though, had opportunities to finish him, but he took it all 3 rounds. He had Burns wobbled, stunned more than a few times. Should have taken him down, should have submitted him, but did not. Let the fucking fight go all 3 rounds. Bullshit. Chimaev knows he could have finished him, and he didn't. He took it to the 3 rounds because guess what? It looks more impressive to take a number 2 guy all 3 rounds because everybody says that you can't go all 3 rounds. You don't have the heart. He wanted to show his heart. Chimaev should have just fucking he had him. He basically almost took him down right from the get go. He should have, once he got him stumbled, wobbled, a few times, he should have taken him down because he could have. Burns was visibly gassed, and he didn't do it. Chimaev should have taken him down when he was gassed, and guess what? Grappled the hell out of him because he was already gassed. Fighting off grappling is going to be only going to make you more tired. And if you take him down and then he works his way back up, guess what? He's using more energy to get back up. And then guess what? He gets back up, you fucking throw another combination, and you knock him the fuck out. He could have done it. You could tell he could have done it, but he didn't. And maybe I'm just biased because he ruined my. I was 2-0 at this point. But he made me 2-1 right there. I mean, hell of a fight for Burns, though. He showed tremendous heart. Hamzat showed that he could hang in there with the best in the world, going from number 11 in the world to number 3 in the world. Next we had Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. I don't know. This fight, I think Yan won this fight. I mean, Yan should have won this fight. Definitely won first round, was chasing Sterling all around the cage. Had some issues with kind of, I don't know, just maybe not landing enough. I don't know. Maybe that's why they give it to Sterling round 1. But round 2 and 3, Sterling gets him in that rear naked position. Just he can't get his arm around Yan. Can't get that choke in. Yan fights off a rear naked choke for about 3 minutes in round 2 and 3. Rounds 4 and 5, Yan comes back, fights his way back, and I think he wins 4 and 5. He wins rounds 1, 4, and 5. The only other way that this could have really been good would have been a draw. I feel like it could have been a draw, but not a split decision victory for Aljamain Sterling. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't know. It was a better fight than the first one, but Aljamain just, I'm not a big fan of him, but I don't know. I'm probably biased. I don't know why, but I just don't like him. I mean, I should probably not have just not. I don't know why I don't like him because he was so cocky in the press conferences and saying that saying that he had all these excuses from his last fight, not eating good enough to win the fight. He didn't have apparently enough food in him or water or something. And then he's talking all this shit like Yan didn't just whip his ass in the first fight. The second fight was definitely good. I mean, and I don't think he's that good of a champion. Maybe Dillashaw knocks him the fuck out. I don't know who he fights next. Honestly, it's I don't even know where are the rankings here. Who's even in Dillashaw? I'd say put him with Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's a fucking warrior. Give Jose Aldo another title shot before he rides off into the sunset, because Jose Aldo is he has he has earned this title shot. Before he retires, the UFC owes him one title shot. He basically built he built the featherweight division. And then he dropped down and he went to featherweight or bantamweight. He's recently he's came back and just, he's worked his way back up. Give fucking Jose Aldo a title shot. He deserves it. Give it to him. But no. I mean, if Aljamain wants someone with heart, that's who you fight. That's the match to make. So Aljamain wins this via split decision. I think it goes Peter Yan. Dana White even said the same thing. It is what it is. What can we do now? Next, we had Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, Chen Sung Young. This fight was just complete domination by Volkanovski. So quick. So just masterclass on striking. He had his way with Korean Zombie. It was not even fair. They stopped this in the fourth round. It was a good fight. I mean, Volkanovski's pretty much done everything in the UFC to do. Who do you put him up against now? I mean, you could do another rematch with Max Holloway, like it was supposed to be. You could do, I say bring Brian Ortega back for a rematch. Brian Ortega had a hell of a match with Volkanovski. He had Volkanovski in submissions, had submission attempts. I like Ortega. I think that's a very good fight for him. But I hear that Brian Ortega is going to fight Yair Rodriguez soon, so they're going to make that matchup sometime from what I'm hearing. I mean, some of these other guys, I don't see him really, fighting right now. Like Arnold Allen, I don't think he's ready for a title shot. Bryce Mitchell maybe moves up, have a fun fight there. That kid's great with submissions. Bryce Mitchell, I'd say put Bryce Mitchell versus Arnold Allen. Or maybe Bryce Mitchell versus Korean Zombie. I don't know. Get Bryce Mitchell up there. He's a tough kid. He's one of those guys you want to see. But no, I mean, Volkanovski just walked through him. So now we're gonna move on to UFC Fight Night. Luque versus Muhammad 2. This is their second fight. First time they fought, Luque knocked out Muhammad. But if you watched, I mean, I guess I can't. I don't want to break it down yet. I gotta start at the very beginning of the card. So the first we start out with Haley Alatang versus Kevin Kroom. Kevin Kroom is he's fought a couple times in the UFC. He's lost 2 fights and then had 1 fight be a no contest. So he hasn't done that well in the UFC. He fought recently here against Brian Kelleher. That was just in January, so he had a few months off, come back and fight again here. So basically, he probably hasn't taken much of a break. He's going against Haley Alatang, who hasn't fought since September of last year. I mean, um, and that was a draw. He's coming off a loss and a draw. And so he fought, in October 3rd of 2020. Then he fought in September of 2021. So Kroom, probably a little bit more of a more active fighter than Alatang. I'm not gonna bet Kroom officially, but if I'm gonna lean toward a pick in this one, it's gonna be Kroom. Let's see. I think I wrote down. I have my official picks here, and then I have them on. I have some of the odds written down. So Kroom, if you bet Kroom's the underdog right now. Kroom is at plus 150. Kroom has 10 submissions in his career, 6 knockouts, 5 decisions, whereas Alatang, he has 4 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 7 decisions. So he can, Kroom's going to either submit this dude or it's going to be a decision fight. Alatang's been knocked out 3 times and he's been submitted once. So, and 4 of his fights he's lost by decision. He's also had 2 draws. I think just based off activity alone, Kroom's obviously got some good grappling here. More active fighter. I see it going Kroom's way, plus 150. It's not on my official card, but if you want to bet him, that'd be what I would do. Kevin Kroom comes in here. He doesn't. Alatang also absorbs about 5.1 punches or significant strikes per minute, whereas Kroom only absorbs like 2.88. So defense, the grappling, Kroom doesn't have that great of a takedown average per 15 minutes. That edge actually goes a little bit toward Alatang. But yeah, I still think that that Kroom is the better pick here, but it's not really something that reaches out to me and is like, hey, pick this fight. Next fight we have Levitt, or not Levitt, Levitt's the one after this one. We have Estela Nunez versus Sam Hughes. Nunez is the favorite on this one. She comes in here, better striking per minute. So she also absorbs less per minute than Hughes. Grappling, they're both really not that great at grappling. Nunez is more susceptible to takedowns. So she's got a 28% takedown defense, whereas Hughes has 41%. Neither one of them are that amazing. But as far as standing, Nunez is far superior. This one, I don't think there's gonna be no. I mean, I have bet before, like I said, I have bet fights all the way up to minus 290, I believe. This one's at minus 210. So you could bet on Estela Nunez at minus 210 over Sam Hughes. I would lean toward it. It's not on my official picks, but I do see that one being a lot better than I would see it. It almost made my card, but it did not. Next we have Jordan Levitt versus Trey Ogden. I think this one's a straight up pick'em, basically. Levitt's an underdog on I believe on Caesars. Levitt is plus 110, and Ogden is minus 130. Ogden's making his debut. And he's making it against a guy who's pretty has had a pretty good run in the UFC so far. Let me see. Dang it, why does stuff pop up on me when I'm looking at stuff? Okay, so Jordan Levitt is 2-1. Actually, if you want to count Contender Series, Levitt is 3-1. And his UFC fights. He's got his Contender Series fight where he beat Jose Flores via an arm triangle choke. Then he fought at UFC 19, Hermanson versus Vittori, which I think was actually that one was not one of my first pay-per-view or UFC shows. I don't think I did one of those yet. He beat Matt Wyman, KO slam. So I mean, obviously his grappling is good. Then he lost to Claudio Pulis at UFC Fight Night 189, Rosenstrike versus Sakai. Actually, that fight on Vittori was actually 2020. June 5th of 2021, he lost to Claudio Pulis. Yeah. And then he goes on to fight Matt Sales at UFC 199, Lewis versus Dacus, UFC Fight Night. So that was one that I covered, but I don't think I had a bet in on this one. He had an inverted triangle choke on this guy. So definitely can grapple, and he's going against a guy, Trey Ogden, pretty slick grappler too. He got 11 submissions, 4 decisions. He's been submitted 3 times himself out of the 4 losses. So he's coming out of more like the local scene. He's had a fight in LFA that he lost. So and then he's fought in Blue Corner, FAC, and then Fury. So I feel like Levitt's got more of the UFC experience, has some submission against some UFC level talent. So I do have this. Levitt is on my official score, and my official picks. He is plus 110. Ogden is the favorite, like I said, though. I don't know why. But I look for Levitt to actually upset Ogden. It's a close one. I mean, plus 110 is not that bad for an underdog. He still is an underdog, but he gets the job done here. Next we have, let's go to next on the card, we have Chris Barnett versus Martin Buday, which this is actually a cool fight. I wouldn't suggest betting on it, but Chris Barnett is a heavyweight that is going to be fun to watch. I think his style is Taekwondo. He wrestled in high school and stuff like that, but he does some spinning shit, and for a heavyweight, that's crazy. He had, I think his last fight he won by like a spinning back kick, I believe. Let me see here, where you at? Chris Barnett, 22-7 as a professional. He lost to his first fight in the UFC was against Ben Rothwell, who was in title contention, so he's a very tough opponent for your debut. Damn. And then he beat Gian Vellante in his second fight, which was at UFC 268, Usman versus Covington 2. spinning wheel kick, and then he landed some punches. But it was a spinning wheel kick that is crazy. And he said the way that he said he knew it was going to be open, because the way when you fight in Taekwondo, he didn't block it the way he was supposed to. So he's like, if I do this again, it should be open. So I think he does have good fight IQ. But him only having 2 fights in the UFC, fighting Martin Buday, he's coming on off of the Contender Series in October, which he won by TKO, by knee. This guy is a knockout artist. It looks like 7 wins. Or 9 wins, 7 by knockout, 1 submission, 1 decision. Which his very first fight was the one he won by decision. And the rest of them were all by finish or get finished, which he's only been finished once. He lost a decision. So first 2 fights were by decision. The rest, he's submission to punches. So that was his submission. Okay, that was a TKO. He's had a couple guys throwing the towel on him. He has a Kimura submission. So I mean, I just think that it's not an official pick, but I'm leaning toward Barnett. I'll probably bet on him, with like unofficially. And the only reason I'll tell you about the picks I'm picking unofficially is because I think Barnett is really I think he's got the charisma. I think that's something that UFC looks for, and he does some exciting stuff like those spinning back kicks and spinning elbows and stuff like that. He's fun to watch. So UFC likes having those kind of people. Fighting for them. They want characters, people that are going to be, there to watch. They have Chris Barnett out of Spain, but I think he kind of said that he was an army brat, so he kind of traveled everywhere. Buday is from Slovakia, so Barnett does take a little bit more damage. 6.21 punches absorbed per minute. But it's a very small sample size. 2 fights versus 1 fight. Next, we have Rafael Garcia versus Jesse Ronson. Another pretty good fight. We got this is going to be on my official picks. I am taking Rafael Garcia, and let me see. I have him. He right now, I believe his fight is a pick'em. Yeah, Rafael Garcia versus Jesse Ronson is right now a toss-up. It's a -110 money line versus -110 money line. Garcia's on a 2-fight, or he's on 1-fight winning streak, but he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights, and those 3 fights being in the UFC. He's fought, he fought 3 times in 2021, so he's active. I think the other kind of knock on Ronson is he hasn't fought since July 25th of 2020, where he got no contest for he got popped for something. I can't remember what it was. Banned substance. So so he got popped for a surprise for a banned substance. Gave him a 20-month suspension. So he's basically been out for 2 years because of that. But he fought once, got no contest, and he's been off for 2 years. I just think that Rafael Garcia, I have him the more active fighter. Obviously it's not his fault that he's not fighting recently. Garcia is 12-2. His only 2 losses are coming in the UFC in his first 2 fights, and they went to decision. So I mean, he's got 1 knockout on his record, 7 submissions, 4 decisions, and Ronson, he's a KO guy. He's out of his 21 wins, 10 are by knockout, 7 by submission, and then 4 by decision. I think a lot of his submissions are earlier in his career, though. Rear naked choke armbar, rear naked chokes. I mean, you're seeing a lot of the. You're not seeing anything that's too out of the ordinary. A Bravo choke. I don't know what that is. That was at the. I don't even think that was. I don't know if that was a MMA fight or what. It says Abu Dhabi Warriors, so who knows. But yeah, then the rest, I mean, they're rear naked chokes. I mean, but they're nothing really. I mean, I guess he does have some, but I just think that I think Garcia is going to be the one, the fresher or the fighter that's been most active recently. I see Garcia. I think it's a good pick. Obviously, it's a pick 'em, but I think he's obviously going to be a little bit more. He's not going to have the cage rust that Ronson does. A 12-2 fighter versus a 21-10, and then they're both in the UFC. So I mean, Garcia's got the more experience in the UFC than Ronson. Ronson with the 1, but I see Garcia going over Ronson here. And then next we have Dracir Close versus Brandon Jenkins. Now this fight is one of the most lopsided fights in this fight night card. So Drakkar has fought some pretty tough guys. I think he's one of the guys that kind of the UFC is kind of pumping up to be someone in the lightweight division. He's fought some really tough guys. He fought Benil Dariush and lost to him in the second round by knockout. But I mean, he's beat some tough guys. Beat Bobby Green, notably, decision. Didn't submit him or anything. But Drakir's a really good guy. He's going against Brandon Jenkins. Jenkins only has 1 UFC fight, and he lost it by TKO. Had a few fights in LFA. It looks like he didn't win them. The LFA 20 he lost. LFA 1 or LFA 34, won at LFA 41, and then lost another LFA. So I mean, he's strung together 3 fight wins and was able to parlay that into a contract with the UFC. I have this fight. This is one of the, I think this fight I have going to have Close winning it by finish, and he's going to be the only one that have finishing their fight this week. So we have Close to finish, which means KO, TKO, DQ, or sub, which is submission. I feel like sometimes I always have to explain what finish means. But yeah, Dracir, I mean, he's obviously the better fighter here. He has the more strikes landed per minute. Lands a higher percentage of his significant strikes than Jenkins. Absorbs less. Jenkins has a small sample size again, 5.9 though. And then Close's defense is better. His grappling is better too, according to the UFC. you know. Let's say what? How many? Yeah, he's only got 2 submissions on his record, so it's probably gonna be a fight that stays standing. But I look for Druck here to have superior striking here and just probably whip Jenkins here. Moving on up, we have Lena Landsberg versus Pani Kinziad. This one's a lopsided one as well. I don't think that I've seen Landsberg fight, but her name sounds familiar. Landsberg, I think she might have been one of the. Nope, I had not seen Landsberg. She hasn't fought since 2020, so she's on a long layoff too, over 2 years, and she's fighting Pani, and she's fought in September. She took a loss to Raquel Pennington, who, if we've seen, you know anything about Raquel Pennington, she is tough. She ends up she has Pennington's a good striker, and I think I had mixed up between her and Dern, but Pennington is a very good striker. We were worried about Aspen Ladd's takedowns, but Pennington's very tough, and she was the one with was a better striker than Ladd. But yeah, that one went to decision. So Bonsai, as her nickname is, she's putting some quite a little bit of a record here. She's 4-2 in the UFC. She had her debut was a loss, and then she strung 4 wins together, and then she lost to Raquel Pennington. Lena Landsberg is not Raquel Pennington. I think we're gonna see. I think women's fights are so hard to predict because I don't know exactly what could happen. Kinziad has 12 decision wins out of 15 on her record, and then Lena Landsberg, out of 10 fights, 6 of them have went to decision. She's knocked out 4. She is 40 years old too, so age is not on her side. Kinziad is 30, so she's gonna be 10 years younger. Probably one of Landsberg's final fights, maybe. I don't know, but if I'm not betting this one officially, but if anything, I'm gonna bet on Kinziad. I do not. It's a trap, I feel, because most fights, she could end up finishing. She could end up finishing Landsberg. The odds on that for method of victory, if Kinziad beats her by decision, it's -165. If for her to finish her, it's +350. So they imagine that this is going to be one of those fights that drags out. She's going to beat her, but she's going to take all 3 rounds to beat her. And I hate predicting some of these women's fights because if the line isn't low enough, it's really hard to bet, because I'd rather bet money line on a female fight, because you sometimes they're known for going the distance, but then they end up finishing their opponent, and then you look at it and say, oh well, she could finish her, and then they go all 3 rounds. It's harder to bet, I think. But that's just my opinion. I'm not gonna bet it, but I just think it's too much of a trap. I don't think you obviously the favored way to win is by decision, but it's too hard to predict. Next, we're going to we have Devin Clark versus William Knight. Now, William Knight is a guy that I like to watch. I saw him the first time I ever saw him fight, he fought Fabio Charant. And I think Fabio Charant's, I don't know, he was one of those fighters that starts slow, but he started out really well against William Knight, and William Knight just caught him with this like short little bam, like just like from his, just like a, like he had like something and he just swung it like this, knocked out Charant. And it was like ever since then, I think he lost his last fight. I know William Knight lost his last fight, but it was kind of like a last minute fill in, and then he got docked money for not making weight. This one will be at heavyweight, so that's actually good for William Knight. Yeah, he lost to Maxim Grishin, and I don't know if I picked him officially. I think that was when I tried to bet the whole card. But no, Maxim Grisham won a unanimous decision. Knight can go all 3 rounds. But Knight's a hitter. I'm not gonna bet on this one officially because I just don't. I don't know if you know. He's 2-1 in the UFC. Those two are at light heavyweight, I believe. I don't know if he fought him at heavyweight. William Knight should probably be a heavyweight. He's had a couple struggles making it to light heavyweight. I want to pick William Knight here, but he's the underdog here, plus 145. Clark is favored. He's minus 170. It's too close to call because it just depends on what version of William Knight shows up. The one that's gonna knock you the hell out, or that does it for the prelims. The main card is just full of just like people I've really never. I'm just gonna go over it quick. I've got no real read on Manure Laziz versus Ange Lusa. Sabatini versus Laramie. Let me see the lines on that one. Sabatini's the heavy favorite here over Laramie. Let's just take a look at some of the numbers. But he's pretty good at the stand up. Let me see if his how long he's been fighting in the UFC. 17, that's what I was looking at. I didn't want to look at Manure. Sabatini, he's on quite a little roll in the UFC. 3 wins. He's got some pretty slick submissions. He's grappling. He's got 10 submissions. Heel hook, arm bar. Those are the 2 that he's got in the UFC. Out of his 4 wins, he's got 2 decisions, 2 submissions. Other ones are rear naked chokes, rear naked choke, rear naked choke, heel hook. So he's good at the rear naked choke and heel hook. Go against Laramie, who's just 2 fights into the UFC. I think they're kind of going to try to. It's a little bit lopsided. I'd probably go with. Laramie, his last fight, he got submitted. So in the first round, I'd look for if you're gonna lean somewhere. This is gonna be my lean. I'm gonna lean on Sabatini to win by submission. That would be a lean for me. Then we got the women's fight. We got Myra Silva versus Yanan Wu. The line on that one is minus 420 for Silva and plus 320 or 330 for Yanan Wu. I believe this one, Silva is just the significantly better striker. So, yeah. Actually, Yunnan is yeah. I don't know why Silva is favored so much. But I don't know. The line here is so lopsided, and the path to like the best betting results are so Silva by decision is plus 160. Myra to win by KO, TKO, DQ submission is plus 330. So I mean, there's value whether you think it's going to go decision or by finish. Just the way it looks, I think they're both going to keep it standing. It's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of exchanges between these two, but they're probably not gonna stand there and just like get a knockout. I mean, it is 135 weight class of bantamweight. I just don't see it. I think it's gonna go decision, but I just don't have a clear read on this one. They both are the same height, around the same height, same reach. 66.5 for Silva, 66 for Yanan. Leg reach both the same. Their numbers are very similar. Let's look at Silva's record here. She's been in the UFC. She's had a contender fight, won her debut, lost her third fight, so she's 2-1, 3-1, 3-1-1, 3-2-1. So she's coming off a loss to Fierro, which we saw her win her fight, her last fight, which was I think last pay-per-view. No, it was the UFC 33. Yeah, she beat Jennifer Maia, so by decision. So yeah, she lost to a very good Manon Fierro. And then tied Montana De La Rosa, who I don't know. She's had a handful of UFC fights. A lot more than a handful. Geez. 1, 2. Okay, so she had a draw against a tough. Maybe it's her opponents that she's fought are tougher. Let's see who Yinan Wu's had a few fights in the UFC. So she's actually Yinan Wu has she is 1-3. So that could be why. All her losses are by a decision though. So a split decision in one of them. So that's maybe why she's the underdog, but it looks like, a lot of their numbers are very similar. Actually, some of them are better. Like Yan Wu has more strikes landed per minute. Their defense, relatively, around the same. 53% defense or significant strike percentage for Silva. So she's landed maybe a little less, but she's connecting. She's making her punches count. She's, she might throw like 30, but she's landing 20 of them, Or actually, it'd be, never mind, maybe she's throwing 30 and landing 15, and then like Manon's throwing 30 and hitting, 12. It's not too bad. Significant strikes landed per minute. They're both not amazing there. They're absorbing about 5 punches. 5.22 for Silva and 4.82 for Yanan. Defense, both pretty good. 51% for Yanan and then 55% for Silva. They're both not grappling, but they're both got good takedown defense. 71% for Silva, 66 for Yanan. I mean, this could be a lot closer than the scorecard shows, or the lines show. Though I mean, obviously Yanan's 1-3 for a reason. No one that I can really see that is standing out name wise. No. So Yunan's 1-3. Maybe that's why. I mean, but maybe she could pull out a win here against Silva. It'd be a pretty, I mean, numbers wise, it could be a closer fight than you think. And then all of her losses are by decision, so maybe she finds her groove here and wins. I just don't have. I don't. It's too close, and Silva's probably not going to finish her, so there's no real betting edge there, and a decision either way could be, Next fight we have is I'm gonna pick an upset. We have Miguel Beza. I don't know. I said Michael Miguel Beza versus Andre Filho. Filho, he came in on short notice in his debut fight, and I thought he looked good until he gassed out. He fought I believe it was Michael Pereira. And yeah, he fought him on short notice. But Filho is he's a KO guy. He's gonna knock you out. He's got one submission, but I think it was like an oddball like submission, maybe rear naked choke in his second fight, But then he's had he fought his debut fight was on short notice, and he came out and was cracking Pereira. And then he kind of gassed out, and then Pereira kind of figured him out too. But I think with a full camp, Fiallo will upset Beza, because I really like this Fiallo guy. I think he is a guy that can just crack you. And we need more guys like that in welterweight. And I mean, I think his game will develop as he, grows within this this division. They need some fresh blood there. But I'm taking Fiallo as the underdog here. He's at plus 150 here. I think it's about the same on Caesars. That's mainly what I use. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just convenient for me. I've always had Caesars since it was William Hill in Iowa. So it was like one of the first ones in Iowa. So I was like, hey, that's what I'm gonna go with, and that's what I've been using. So Fiallo is plus 155. So 5 points on my book difference, and then Beza is minus 180. I just think Fiallo is going to go out there and crack him a handful of times, and he's going to surprise Beza. I think Fiallo can knock him out. That's why I'm going with Fiallo. The next fight is kind of an oddball for a co-main event. You have Kyle Boralo versus Gadsi Omergaskizov. I think he's a Dagestani guy. Russia. I think he's one of those Dagestani guys. He is the favorite in this fight. So I don't know if I told you the last fight. I am officially picking Fiallo. He's on my official card. So my official card right now is looking like my official card right now is looking like this. Levitt plus 110, Garcia minus 110, close by finish negative 110 or minus 110, Fiallo plus 155. This fight's not going to be on an official one either. It's a very, it does make sense. They're both very, they both have close records. 10-1 for Caillou, and then Godsey is 13-0. I don't have a real good read on this. There's I believe it's Godsey's debut fight. Yeah, he fought in the Contender Series, so this is his debut fight with UFC. He's 8 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 2 decisions. So he could come in there and just throw bombs. Then Caillou's coming off the Contender Series as well. He's fought on the Contender Series twice apparently. Apparently must not have impressed Dana too much on his first one. It was a unanimous decision. He comes in the second time, wins by TKO. He's another guy, 10-1, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions, 3 decisions. If I'm going leaning one here, it's gonna be I'm going with probably Gatsby. But they break down about evenly. Gadsby, absorbs less, but yeah. I still have a good read on this one. They're both kind of coming off the Contender Series, and they're fighting in the co-main event. So the last fight of the night, the main event, is Bilal Muhammad versus Vicente Luque. This is their second time fighting. First time Vicente knocked him out within 90 seconds, I believe. Let's see. Let's look at Luque. TKO punches, 1 minute 19 in the first round. So almost 90 seconds. Almost 90 seconds. But yeah, he knocked him out. I think Bilal Muhammad has significantly got better here. Luque's fought some pretty good guys too, though. He's fought Nico Price twice. He submitted him the first time with a Bravo choke, and then Dr. Stoppage. So he fought anybody else twice besides Nico Price. He's beaten Mike Perry, lost to Stephen Boy Thompson, Wonder Boy Thompson, which Muhammad just beat. He beat Tyron Woodley. Tyron probably toward the end of his career, though. Then Michael Chiesa, and then we got Bilal Muhammad, who I think he's just on a different level right now. If you watched him, I'm gonna base this off of what I've seen him fight Wonder Boy Thompson. He is just gonna. I think he's gonna go out there and wrestle Luque, and just it's gonna be a masterclass on wrestling. I think Bilal Muhammad is seriously undervalued here. He's plus 155. I'm gonna put money on him to win. I just think he's gonna go out there and out wrestle Luque. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. Yeah, Luke has he doesn't go for very many takedowns. His takedown defense is all right, 64%. Bilal Muhammad's is at 91%, so that's pretty damn good. Um, Muhammad lands about 1/3 of his shots that he takes, but I think that'll go. I think just something's clicked with his wrestling, and he can do it now. Um, Luque lands a lot. He lands more per minute, 565 per minute compared to Luque is at 4.55. Both can strike. There's significant strikes percentage. 54 for Luque and 43% for Muhammad. And then Luque absorbs more compared to Muhammad. So, and then their defense, Muhammad's a little bit better at 59% compared to 52% for Luque. I think Muhammad is seriously undervalued here. I think he's a guy that can play the underdog very well, and I think he can win. I'm just, for whatever reason, that I think the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight really showed people what he can do, and I think that's why he's gonna win. I think he's just gonna put on another wrestling clinic, and he's gonna be able to keep Luque down for 3 rounds. I don't think he'll be a boring grappler though. We hate boring grappling, and I'll be pissed if I still pick Bilal Muhammad plus 155 and he wrestles him and just lays on top of him. I will be so pissed too. I hate watching that type of fight. But anyways, that's my breakdown. I feel like I probably went way over my time anyways right now. So you guys have a great night. I'm gonna go, shower up and go sleep myself. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see you here next week for the review, the breakdown, and then our next fight, best bets and whatnot.